variety of some sun, and a possibility of thunderstorms. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks, or watch thousands of movies on demand, all for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPN NW.
Stay high on life. Not on the road. Driving high will get you a DUI, and it could mean costly deductibles, higher insurance rates, jail time, and potentially your life. Don't put yourself and fellow drivers at risk.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Transportation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters,
WGSX Lynn Haven, W Field, Q Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Get ready.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
Keep making noise!
How are we doing? Panama City, Florida, Northwest Florida, all of the surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Coach Brian Haddad and James Fife, live and loud from the CBC Construction Studios. You can visit cbcconstruction.com or call them at 850-747-3815 for all of your construction needs. Hope all the fathers and the ladies playing the role. I had a great Father's Day yesterday afternoon. Big shout out again to my dad and my Papa Jack, and my brother Will got to celebrate his first Father's Day with baby Ruth. And it wasn't Mother's Day, but, you know, first Mother's Day for Mercy yesterday as well. Great time. That was actually my first time, I was telling you, Brian, my first time going out there to where he lives. He lives in Sunny Hills. Yeah. And I'm like, daggone, what took you so long to invite me out here, man? He's got, he's got goats, he's got puppies, he's got chickens. Funny story about it. So when I first pulled up, as I mentioned, that was my first time going out there to see him. So when I first pulled up, he works for Myers, for the electric company. Mm-hmm. All right, so his van is parked in a driveway, and I'm walking up to the house. I park right behind his van. I walk up to the house. I'm like, there's no way they brought a brand new baby to this house. Like it looks like, you know, it's still been dealing with things from Hurricane Michael. Yeah. Right. So I'm sitting out there. There's chickens all in the yard. So I'm like, well, this has definitely got to be, you know, his house. I text him, I'm here. And the next thing you know, he comes walking from the other side for like the beautiful yard and everything. I'm like, bro, I got to tell you, I was about to text you and say, man, like, do you need me to help you, like, come out for a weekend and spend some time cutting up some trees with you and whatnot? But no, it was great to see him and watched a little bit of the Atlanta Braves yesterday, which The Atlanta Braves, you know what we saw today in the Men's College World Series? We'll be talking a lot about that. We've got Steve Barnes coming up at 5 o'clock. He is in tune with the College World Series. Arkansas Razorbacks pitcher Gage Wood threw the third no-hitter in Men's College World Series. But back to the Braves, Grant Holmes yesterday threw a gem, 15 strikeouts. I believe the first Braves pitcher to throw for 15 strikeouts since 1966, and they lose the daggum game 10-1. Are you kidding me? These are the things that have Braves fans up in arms. I'm trying to remain calm. Banji keeps on telling me, don't say the Braves suck, or say the Braves suck, and you know what? They have been playing like they do. However, I still am holding out faith. I know Adam Goff is riding me right now about how bad, actually not about just how bad Ozzie Albies is playing, but he's telling me, you know, he doesn't look like he cares or that he loves the game of baseball. I'm not to that point yet because I don't think I've seen enough apathy from him. I haven't seen enough at bats over the last couple of weeks because I'm not checked into every single Braves game either. But I'm holding out. I don't know if it's the optimist in me, but I'm holding out hope. You know what I can say? We should have swept the Rockies. We did not sweep the Rockies, but we did not get swept. Coach Brian Haddad, how are you doing this weekend?
I'm doing good. Any truth to the rumor that Paul Skeens, sent home something that said, "Welcome to my world"?
Maybe so, even though I would say that their velocity is a little...
Well, just, 15 Ks and
15 strikeouts
and losing.
Yeah, I'm sure that there was quite a few encrypted messages between the two.
Oh, man. Paul Skeens going to make Walter Johnson look like he was on a world champion team.
Well, at least they did win the last start that he was in. I believe it was Friday afternoon. Yeah, because they had the day game, and he didn't win it, though. The Pirates won the game. It wasn't a registered win for Paul Skeens, so I guess that continues to play a fact. I want to say they're right around 500 ball when he's on the mound. Not wins and losses in his category.
Yeah, well, they're not when he's not, so, good for them, I guess. But, he's going to have one of those seasons where it's like, unfortunately, it's so tied to wins. I don't know if people are going to know how good this season is if he's not able to get a little better win-loss record, because a lot of times that will get lost. Mm-hmm. Now, if he ends up somehow winning the Cy Young, that'll cover it a little bit.
Right.
But,
I think it covers it a lot of bit.
Right, but even so, it does get lost. And conversely, it can elevate somebody's, who maybe has a little more marginal numbers across the board, but they're, 22-3.
Yeah.
That can do it. And look, the name of the game is to win.
Right.
But with pitching wins and losses, it can be a little bit, shadowed about, really how dominant a pitcher's been and more about, whether the team's giving him support or not.
Which is huge to have that quality stat or quality start.
That's right.
Statistic in there. But it's also one of those things when, and we'll get right over there to you, James. He put his arms up like, dude, what? And I'm going to take James's words on the new world of statistics. James.
Well, I was going to say, normally I don't like the new nerd world of statistics. Yeah. Quality start I like a little better than most everything else.
Right. And that's the, when it comes to wins for the pitcher, you could pitch 4 2/3 innings.
Yeah.
Quality, pitching, not get the W. The guy who comes in for you pitches 1 out.
That's right.
And he could get the win. And that to me is, we had this whole conversation Friday afternoon. Caveman Rick's been harping on fielder's choice. He thinks it should be a hit. If a team tries to turn 2 and they don't get both outs, they only get the lead runner, and they don't. He said, the batter does his job in that. And I disagree wholeheartily because you're not doing your job. Your job is to move the run.
Does it apply like a sacrifice now?
No, actually, with the fielder's choice, it would count.
Against. I'd be more in line with it not counting either way, but
I would say I think certain fielder's choice could be scored certain ways.
Right.
So
it shouldn't be a hit, but I'm more in line with like a sack.
Helping your OBP.
Yeah.
or being advantageous.
That's another nerd
but
step.
exactly, it does kind of come back into that. But we were having, it's been a fun conversation,
Sure.
an ongoing conversation between me and Caveman Rick, because so many things will tie into it as well. Now, what's your issue, James? Is it with quality start? You don't like that?
Quality
as a
start.
statistic?
Not a big fan of the quality
Okay.
start. You pitch 6 innings, you give up less than 3 earned runs. So you can go out there, pitch 6 innings, get 3 earned runs. You do that every single game, you can get 25 quality starts during the season. You'll also have a 4.5 ERA.
At only giving up 3 runs?
If you give up 3 runs in 6 innings,
in 6 innings, yeah.
ERA's done by a 9 innings,
Yeah, we
so
don't-
that's 4.5 ERA. That's not an ERA that gets you into the Hall of Fame.
No, unfortunately, now it'll get you in the top 10 or 15 in the league a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is while pitching is better, but the ERAs continue to ascend.
Well, I
Make
think
that make sense.
so
Well,
many
no.
pitchers are pitching less innings.
Yeah, that's where the ERA is
Yeah,
going
yeah,
up.
yeah.
That's right.
Because you're seeing guys, okay, you've gone through the order twice, now you're done.
That's
You're
why I
not
said
seeing
make it make
guys-
sense, because
yeah,
now you're
not
making
getting
it make sense.
You're not seeing guys getting complete games. You're not seeing
Yeah.
guys out there that, okay, I had a rocky start. I gave up, 3 runs in the first 2 innings, but I got it together, and I only gave up 3 runs through 9 innings. My ERA is 3.
Yeah.
But if I go out and I don't look great, all right, son, you've been through the rotation twice. You gave up 2 runs, and you're in the 4th inning. You're out.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have an ERA around 4.
You just don't get the quality.
So you
start.
don't get the quality start.
Okay. Yeah.
You just get the appearance. You can't collect the win, which I think we need to give out wins differently now.
All right. So tell me how you would like to see MLB distribute wins or
Well, we
score
need to.
wins.
Well, they just need to distribute wins like they do if the guy doesn't go 5 innings, because a pitcher must pitch 5 innings if he starts to collect the win.
So the last pitcher to pitch the ball when your team has the lead, or to record it out.
I think it just needs to be a decision on, the score, because that's how it goes. If the starting pitcher makes it 4 2/3 inning, doesn't get that full 5 innings in, after that point, the winner is going to be determined by the official score.
Okay, so let's say your guy comes in to finish the 4th inning to complete the 5 full innings. So he pitches a third of an inning, gets out, and then let's say everyone else is just an inning or less. Then it's all of this is still up to the scorer. But would you go with a guy who's 4 2/3, or would you go with someone who had a shutdown inning?
I mean, if he only goes 4 2/3, you cannot honor him to win.
But if we're changing the scoring,
I'm fine with it.
Right, that's what I'm trying to kind of get at is I feel like if we're going to change the scoring of pitching, then it would, all right, now here's the opposite example where I would lean the opposite way. Guy pitches 4 2/3 innings, leaves with the win, or leaves with the lead, right? The guy who comes in after him pitches 2 1/3 inning. I'm probably going to side with the guy who pitches 2 1/3 innings of shutdown baseball and still has the lead, the win. How do you feel about that? Well, I know that, but
I mean, it just really depends on how that guy that did 4 2/3 inning looked during that game. Was he the reason that team won?
There you go.
If he came out and he did all right, he gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and left a guy on base when he got pulled in 4 2/3. And you still get the win, and everybody else looked worse than him, but say the bats just came alive and everybody else behind him gave up 2 runs each in 1 inning, but the offense scored 3 runs for you in each inning. Yeah, I'd give it to the guy at 4 2/3.
Hypotheticals galore here on a magical Monday here in the doghouse.
I don't know where I am at this point.
It's all right. We're
I'm
coming
lost.
back. We're coming right back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. David Hayes, James Fife, and we've got Coach Brian Haddad. And the Red 7T's phone line is open. You can text in your best and worst of the sports weekend to 850-215-6290 on the Red 7T's phone line. They are the brand that brands you. A lot of baseball going on. We've got UCLA and LSU coming up tonight. Both of those teams battling still in the winners bracket. I believe the loser of that game will end up taking on, well, who would it be? Would it be? I was going to guess for it to be Murray State, but So who, James, if you'll look that up for me, who the winner of what's that?
I ask a question again.
Yeah, go ahead. UCLA, LSU, winner of that would take on
Arkansas.
No, it's going to be Arkansas.
It would be Arkansas.
Yeah, Murray's gone.
Yeah, I know that, but Arkansas's in the losers bracket right now. So wouldn't they end up having to take on the winner of Oregon State and Louisville?
No, Oregon State and Louisville play an elimination game tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, they're on the other side.
Yeah, but
so that's Arkansas LSU is also an elimination game tomorrow.
No, no, it's not Arkansas LSU. I might be misspeaking then. It's LSU and UCLA. That's who's playing tonight.
So the loser of tonight's game will play Arkansas.
Will it be Arkansas?
That's that side of the bracket.
Okay, because Coastal Carolina is undefeated.
Unless they switch the bracket.
Yeah, okay.
No, brackets don't cross.
I felt like it did in softball.
I think it did.
It did, yeah. So that's why, I mean, it's a little bit confusing. I'd have to go read on NCAA. It's not confusing. It's just we think ahead too much.
I believe the loser will play Arkansas.
Okay.
And that would be in an elimination game.
All right. Well, that would be a heck of a game to re-see Arkansas and LSU. That loss to LSU could have been the spark that the Razorbacks needed. But what have you thought about CCU, Coach? I know Arizona was your team to have an eye on, and you
had an eye on them right out the door because I've cursed them again. I thought Coastal would win the first game because what Arizona's MO has been losing right out of the gate and then being incredibly scrappy going forward. I thought they'd get top, like third or fourth or something. But anyway, they're gone. Coastal's playing great baseball. There's no way around it. I felt good that I did take UCLA. Everybody wanted to take Murray. I wanted Murray to win, but I liked UCLA because they made much shorter order of was it Dallas Baptist? Who did they play? No, the Roadrunners. UTSA. And they made short order of them, so I liked them coming in. I'm a little surprised LSU got through Arkansas. I thought they'd jump on them early and then Arkansas would wear them down late, but you can't ever count out LSU out there. So, Coastal probably looks the best right now, but that's easy to say when a team's won, 25 in a row like that.
That's a good point.
They look good, but, it's baseball. It can turn on a dime, as we've seen. Look, Arizona, for as much as I'm harping on them being gone, they were up 3-2 in the eighth and let it get away. They gave up 6 in the bottom of the eighth, and now they're going home. So it can change in a hurry in college baseball, especially if you don't have a whole lot of pitching depth.
Yeah, there you go. We'll talk more about that with the senior writer for the RebelWalk.com, Steve Barnes, coming up to kick off hour number 2. Coming up next, we're going to have RJ Starcevic on the line with us. We'll be taking some left and right turns with him as they were in Mexico City for the road course yesterday. And then at 5:20, we'll get into the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd Mueller. Again, text in your best and worst of the weekend to 850-215-6290. That is the Red 70s phone line. Ohtani back on the bump tonight for the Dodgers, taking on the Padres. Big series for them. What do you think about this, James? I'm not a huge fan of this. First time that he's going to be pitching in 2 years. First time pitching with the Dodgers. If I'm the Dodgers and what's been working so far to this point, I think that I just kind of keep it that way. But if the man wants to pitch and you want to keep your best player happy, then I guess that's the direction Dave Roberts is going to go. What do you think tonight? What do you think we see out of Shohei Ohtani tonight?
I'm not the biggest and most excited about it. I figured he would stay at least for the rest of this season just in a DH role. I didn't even think we'd see him out in the field. I didn't want to test the throwing arm really at all. Best player in baseball, period. Batting, pitching, really doesn't matter. But right now his bat is so valuable. Look how far it took you last year. He wasn't pitching. The guy doesn't need to pitch, but if the guy really, really, really wants to pitch, and I think he does. I think he wants to be the best two-way player ever to play baseball. I think that's a goal for him in life. And he's saying, guys, I'm good to pitch. And if you've got a medical staff that you are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to every year, as the Dodgers, which I'm sure they're paying a medical staff a lot of money to be there, and they're saying he's good to pitch. He's not wincing. He's not showing any pain afterwards. He's not getting in any big-time inflammation in his elbow after he throws, like 50 pitches in a bullpen session. So if he's ready and he wants to go, that's where you've got to be a manager of a baseball team. like Dave Roberts, and you've got to make that decision. It might even be a higher decision than Dave Roberts. I don't know, but I figure that decision would be left with Dave Roberts. So, I mean, if he's going to pitch, let him pitch.
How many innings do you foresee him going tonight?
I wouldn't see more than like a 3 spot.
3?
I mean, I wouldn't want to. I'd want to see him maybe go through the lineup once, and if he's, halfway through, gets to the 9th guy and we're still in the 3rd inning and there's, an out or 2, you let him finish that inning. But I don't think I would let him go too deep. You don't want to test it too hard. And even if he gets to a high pitch count, like say in the first 3 innings, once that he hits 70, 75, I'd just go ahead and take him out, no matter, what the count is.
What is your thoughts on this, Coach Haddad?
You and I have talked about this. We don't necessarily love Ohtani throwing. That being said, I think it's fine to do a couple of starts here and there in the summer just to get a sense of him. If this becomes a regular occurrence, I'm against it. Mm-hmm. Even if they're walking him in, I don't like that. I like a couple of spot starts here and there, maybe even a couple of occasions in relief. That way you at least have a bit of a sense of where we are with things, what we're going to have available for the playoffs, assuming the Dodgers get there, which I think all of us assume they're going to make the playoffs. So I don't mind as much them throwing him out. I agree with James, like 3 innings, 70 pitches tops, right in that range is good. But I would want it to be not regular at this point, if that makes sense. I don't want to see him as a regular in the rotation right now. I want to see him throwing him maybe every 2nd or 3rd start just to get a sense of things. And like I said, try him in different situations, different things so that you have a sense of what's available to you come playoff time.
Yeah, I would have saved him till a month away from the playoffs. But I guess this is a good time to go ahead.
Out.
Yeah, it's a good time as any to go ahead and see what he's capable of or how the arm's feeling for him. And then it gives him time to work his way into the rotation if you get that needy in October.
I mean, we're talking major leaguers, so muscle memory should be built in, but this guy hasn't thrown meaningful pitches in a while. Mm-hmm. So it also gives you a chance to maybe, there might be a few mechanical things you need to work on. I mean, he may be standing up too straight. He may not be, and balls rising on him, different things like that. This will give you a sense in game play of, do we need to adjust some things technically because you've gotten a little rusty. Like I'm watching him throw here. I've seen a couple of them where he's standing up too straight and a couple of them have risen on him. So, who knows? But
because you'll usually see a pitcher coming back from a major thing like Ohtani, you'll usually see him 3, 4, 5 rehab starts before you feel absolutely confident with him pitching. And you're watching him go up against single A, double A guys, not Major League Baseball guys.
The good news, based on what I was just watching, is a lot of guys coming back from that will be a little bit tentative on their whip follow through. Because they're just a little bit tentative of something snapping, something whatever like that. He looks okay there. Like I said, his posture just looks a little bit stiffer and a little bit different here. But that's to be expected, like I said, if he hasn't thrown anything meaningful in a while.
Make sure he's just not tipping.
How good of a
fair enough.
How good of a baseball player do you have to be for the Dodgers to say, you just brought up the rehab starts, right?
Yeah.
Rehab starts are normally done double A.
Oh, sure.
Single A.
You'll start off at like single A even.
This is Shohei's rehab start. That's how they're coining this.
Yeah, the only reason to send Shohei down to double A is if Poughkeepsie needs a gate.
Yeah.
Or something like. I don't even know where their double A affiliate is, but you know what I mean.
Or if he needs to find a new interpreter if the gambling starts going.
I just saw that his interpreter reported to prison today.
Oh, there you go. Ippei. You pay for Ippei then, I guess.
What's the over-under on when he gets out?
Oh, I see what you did there.
30.
I see what you did there. So you show his money to bet on it?
Yeah, there you go. All right, it's time for us to take a quick timeout. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we're going to be talking NASCAR with RJ Starcevic, creator of the Instagram page Motor Stardom.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the most college and local sports anywhere on the Panhandle. Join the Coach Hale Show, mornings from 7 to 9, live from the J. Michaels studio.
Best seafood, the Coles beer.
High school coverage, the SEC and beyond. It's all right here. Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Of course, it helps when you're a multi-millionaire.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Monday's weather. The rest of the day there will be a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest, a chance of thunderstorms and some sun, and 86. Mostly clear skies tonight, about the same at 79. Tomorrow, a variety of mostly sunshine and possible thunderstorms and a high of 86. About the same at 87 Wednesday, and we'll have a variety of some sun and a possibility of thunderstorms. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Your spot for exciting college baseball and the best boiled seafood around is Lone Star Boil House. Watch the College Baseball National Championship Tournament and the College World Series on their huge Jumbotron. Plus, Lone Star Boil House is where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Shrimp, red royals, and everything crab. Follow Lone Star Boil House on Facebook for amazing food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
No one wants to deal with a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. It's even worse when you're not sure what it'll cost, when it'll get fixed, or if someone's just selling you something. When you call Hiller, you can trust our experts to actually solve your home's problems quickly. And with true transparency pricing, you know the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. Book online now at happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. From the pros to the future pros, we're your home team station for home team sports. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the CBC Construction Studio listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Coach Brian Haddad and James Fife. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We want to thank you guys for nominating The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and the Coach Hale Morning Show as your favorite radio show and the best of Bay from the News Herald. We're on a mission to be hyper-local, serve the community, and provide our residents and visitors an exciting and entertaining space to keep your radio fun and positive in Panama City, Lynn Haven, Panama City Beach, 30A, and across Bay County. Go to ESPNPC.com and vote Ryan Mulvey or Coach James Hale for best radio personality in the best of Bay. And thanks for listening to us on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Fun and positive. Does that mean I'm fired?
I mean, no, that's why you're on the Afternoon.
No, is that why we didn't get nominated?
Well, no, that's not why we didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
We don't get nominated.
Yeah, I would have taken all three down with me.
I think that there's the reality of that we never talk about. Like, I just always forget about promoting that on the show. We're not here for no popularity contest.
That's right.
Come on. But please do vote for our guys Inside Drive.
We live on our good looks.
Yes. If looks could kill, me and Coach Haddad and James would have those, and we'd probably have a lot of charges because it wouldn't be the good kind of looks. Killing. Let's get over to the phone line. We've got RJ Starcevic on the air with us. He is the creator of the Instagram page Motor Stardom, and he is on the Red 7T's phone line. RJ, what's going on, bro? Oh, hey, turn on channel 1 on the master for the, not for the phone. There we go. What's going on, RJ? How are you?
Doing good, man. Just settling in. Awesome weekend in Mexico. We're ready for Game 5 tonight. I see somebody in there's got a Pacers jersey on, huh?
That's me.
Yes, you do. So whose jersey is it?
It's Reggie Miller. It's a little hard to see. Okay. Yeah, Reggie Miller. I got a Hallie actually on the way from old China, and I got a custom one too.
Well, that's good. That's good. I feel like I've been leaning more towards the Pacers this series, so we'll see who pulls it out tonight, though.
Let's be honest, they're all from China.
they all are, but there's a little price difference in these. All right, back to you, RJ. Hey, so we had that great race in Mexico City. It was a lot of fun. I from my perspective, watching it yesterday, just a course that I've never seen before. I thought that was fun. Give us your best and worst of the race at Mexico City.
Yeah, when we go for an inaugural weekend, there's not too many lows. I'd say the only really, worst of the weekend we had was just the travel issues that moved things back a day. We did still get cup practice on Friday, but unfortunately all the Xfinity action was moved to Saturday just because of some travel issues. So didn't get to see all the action we had hoped for, obviously, but still saw a lot of things, and I'd say that translates to the best of what happened on Saturday. I'd say the best moment was certainly Daniel Suarez getting to collect that checkered flag, in his home country over there in Mexico in the Xfinity Series. It was a wild race. He wasn't the top contender for sure at the beginning part, had to start in the rear because of an issue in qualifying. So to be able to go from 39th to 1st and then win in your home country, that was just an awesome moment, and I'd say that's definitely at least one of the top 3 moments of this weekend.
There you go, man. So moving on to our recap of the race, and this guy was way out ahead of everyone else to finish the race, so much so that if I'm not mistaken, that the crew chief had said, hey, buddy, slow it down a little bit. We need to save a little gas. So give us a recap of the race in Mexico City.
Yeah, they told SVG to slow down. He said, hell no, and he extended that gap as he should to solidify that victory. So yeah, it was a very fun race from Mexico City, a very long one, but honestly, I didn't even mind it, just to be able to soak in the new racetrack. It's a lot easier to watch a race when you're learning more about the racetrack as it goes on. I've seen some F1 races there. I've played some video games racing on that racetrack, but obviously seeing the NASCARs on there is certainly an incredible experience. So SVG, we knew he was going to be the class of the field. He won the pole. It didn't come super easily at the beginning of the race. Ty Gibbs was up there contending with him for the lead. We knew Ross Chastain was going to be decently fast as well. Michael McDowell as well was one of those front runners. But once we got to that final stage and that final caution finally came out to let us into a 30 to 40 to go restart, it was just all SVG from there on out, and he just put on an absolute dominating performance. And they talk about his driving style, the way where he almost gets better as a run goes on with the way he drives. He's able to save his tires more than everybody else. It's very fascinating the way he's able to rip that race car around a road course. And I always when I look at a track where nobody else has been to, everybody's kind of on the same playing field. When SVG goes to Watkins Glen and Sonoma, other people have been there, 10 plus times. But we go to Mexico, just like when we went to Chicago Street Course 2 years ago. Everybody's on an even playing field, and he whooped the field, and he just did the same thing again this weekend. So, that's why they put him in that race car, because he was going to be able to pick up a win, and he goes from 33rd in the point standings to in the playoffs, and he will be one of those 16 drivers fighting for a championship at the end of this season. And it was all SVG, all Trackhouse vibes. Down there in Mexico.
And SVG has, been great for NASCAR, but as you mentioned, he's more of a road course guy. Could you see, maybe not this year or even next year, but that with SVG getting a win, now he's in the playoffs, but he specializes in the road courses. Could you see a world where NASCAR looks at it and says maybe just winning isn't the best way to get in if the rest of your points don't kind of tally up?
Yeah, honestly, you'd think they would have thought that back with when Harrison Burton won at Daytona last year, right, from 34th in the point standing. So I don't think they're going to change it anytime soon. And I look at this as, honestly, last year's Daytona, this is a road course. I look at SVG as a guy that has been trending better. As of late, he's been running top 15 at some of these ovals, and he's also significantly better when he gets to a track he now has been to for a second time. When he's going to these racetracks, a lot of these tracks he's going to for the first time in the next-gen car, and he's having to learn all race. So to me, I look at SVG in the playoffs, and when I looked at Harrison Burton last year, I was like, no chance. But when I look at SVG in the playoffs this year, especially with how unpredictable the racing can be, and how people get crashed in 1 or 2 races and they can lose a lot of points, it's definitely not out of the question. We got road courses in the playoffs. We got Talladega in the round of 8 to set up the championship race. So it's definitely not out of the question, but we're really going to find out what SVG has in these next few months to see if he will really be a factor.
We've talked about the track a little bit, but do you think that this race at Mexico City should become a permanent fixture on the NASCAR calendar?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think the weekend we were just able to have in Mexico was awesome to get to see all the new outreach we had just gotten. I know there's going to be some pieces, not out yet, but put out throughout the week from some of the media members that were there throughout the weekend that got to talk to so many different fans who were there for the first time, seeing NASCAR for the first time, or maybe they've been a fan for a long time, just were never able to go, and now we're finally able to see a race. So I think the vibes were unmatched down there. It's certainly, it reminded me of when I watched NASCAR go to Nashville in 2021 for the first time, and I said, I want to be there next year. And I was able to make it there next year in 2022, and it was an absolute blast. So I watched this weekend, and I said, boys, I am going to get my passport, and we're going to make our way down to Mexico, and I will be there in 2026. As long as that race does come back, and I assume it will. But definitely needs to be a fixture on the NASCAR schedule, and I'm looking forward to seeing what more it can bring in the years to come.
Well, what is some of the feedback that you've heard from some of the drivers after the race?
Yeah, just I think a different atmosphere, and the fans are just so into it. And we know the fans are so into it at any track we go to. But I literally saw a video this morning of the drivers and the teams and just NASCAR personnel leaving the track, and there's like a pack of hundreds or thousands of people waiting, high-fiving everybody as they walk away. And I mean, the driver intros was insane as well. I mean, they had a gigantic stage doing that on. We also got a podium celebration at the end of the race, which is really cool. Some champagne out there, which we don't normally see. And I think any time as well, we know Formula One is that global racing sport, right? We kind of feel it a little bit when we go to Circuit of the Americas early in the year, right? Okay, this is a Formula One track. This is cool. I think it's awesome to be able to go to a track where Formula One goes to, and for those people to have a different type of racing to watch, because, obviously we know what type of racing Formula One is, and it's really cool, I'm sure, for a lot of those people to see some other racing out there at that racetrack. So I think, that's the biggest feedback that I've just seen on social media, heard for some drivers. And also, I mean, guys, the food is fantastic out there from what I've heard. So that's also kind of on my plate here for me to get there and try the food, because, it was one thing to have all the Mexican food I did in Texas a few months ago, but boy, let me get down to Mexico and see what it's all about.
There you go. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. On the Red 7T's phone line with us is RJ Starcevic. You can go follow his page on Instagram, Motor Stardom. Also follow his YouTube page where you can hear his latest and greatest interviews. Give me the driver who had high expectations but ended up with a disappointing finish.
Yeah, I'd have to say Tyler Reddick. I mean, I really expected him to have a little bit more pace than he did. Didn't really get caught up in any incidents. Just didn't really have speed. They qualified 22nd and they finished 20th, and that was just kind of the day that they had. So for a guy in a team that is usually very fast on the road courses, his teammate Bubba Wallace finished all the way up in the 12th position. So for him to be down there in the 20s, certainly something I didn't expect.
And on the flip side of that, driver who had low expectations, but they ended up with an impressive finish, and I think we might have to get RJ back for that particular call. So we will make that happen. Meanwhile, I'm over here gazing at the American League and National League Home Run Derby and kind of warm-up jerseys for the All-Star Game, which is going to be held there at Truist Park. And I'm so glad that they are going back for 2025. They are going back for the regular uniforms. They're going to wear their regular uniforms. I think the hat might be an all-star type hat, which the hats that I've seen as a hat connoisseur are absolutely, I just don't like them. Yeah. I just don't like them that much. I might buy one, but just because we're hosting the All-Star Game. I don't like the jerseys. I'm so glad that we're wearing the I feel like you right now. I'm just coming up with a list of things to complain about. But they say AL and NL on them. The American League's kind of like a navy blue color. National League is kind of a royal type blue color, almost like a 80s Braves. Not the powder blue.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like the cherry blossom Braves. It's kind of that color. Okay. And then they say AL and NL. The A looks like the baby A from the cherry blossom Braves, and then the NL is kind of that same font. So I don't know. They just don't do it for me. And I think that when you're daggum hosting an all-star game, it needs to embody your city, like something more than just one singular letter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a big fan, but we're back to RJ here, talking NASCAR. RJ, we left off a driver who had low expectations, who had an impressive finish. Repeat that one for me.
Yeah, I guess they cut me because I was about to say something bad about Cole Custer, but that's good and bad. But
NASCAR officials, they get on to us every now and again.
Yeah, shout out to Cole Custer in the 8th position. I mean, like, to be totally honest, there's been a lot of times where we've forgotten that team and him are in the Cup Series. They've just had such a bad year, not finding any speed anywhere. So they ran top 10 for the good portion of the last half of the race, 8th place finish. I mean, that's huge. For a guy that we know has talent, they're just trying to find a groove, I think, as a whole organization. So hopefully this is a spark to swing things in the right momentum for them.
What driver, if he got a do-over, would win that race yesterday? Is there a driver out there that would have won outside of SVG?
I would have to say Ty Gibbs, just because of the fact that I think he could have been up there possibly with the pace that we saw from that 88. I don't think there was anybody contending with him. But Ty Gibbs was that guy in that spot. He was leading, and he had the choice to either come down pit road or stay out a little bit. And they were literally talking, they called it on the broadcast, saying if he stays out here and a caution comes out, he's screwed. And they stayed out those few laps, and there was an incident on the racetrack. Caution came out, and it put him all the way in the back of the field because SVG and others had already pit, so they would, kind of jump the cycle there. So that would be probably the only guy there that maybe wouldn't have finished 15 seconds back like Christopher Bell. Maybe he would have cut it to like 7 or 8, but definitely it was SVG's ballpark. But great showing from Ty Gibbs yesterday, though. Another guy with a struggle of a year. Great performance for him. And we continue to see this rivalry kind of poke its head out week in and week out. It's a budding rivalry, but I think that the rose has bud on that. Ricky Stinson Jr. and Carson Hocevar, kind of explain what went on with those two fellas yesterday afternoon. Yeah, man, we thought we had healed the beef. We thought all was good. They talked, Hocevar heard him on our show and was talked to him. We thought they talked it out, and fortunately, it happened again. Hocevar ran into Stenhouse, wrecked him for 20th place while Hocevar was a lap down. So Stenhouse went up to his car after the race and said, I'm, quote, unquote, I am going to beat your ass when we get back to the States.
Don't do it in Mexico.
Yeah, I've been seeing all the memes where Stenhouse is waiting for him at Border Patrol and everything. So it's we'll see what happens when we get to Pocono. I will say that my team, we are going to reach back out to the Stenhouse camp and see if he wants to run it back again on the show. But yeah,
see if you can get them both on at the same time, RJ.
That would be lovely. I mean, I can't say we have reached out to Hocevar as well. So we're certainly doing what we can with both parties here because, that's what we do on the Motor Stardom show. We want to get everybody's side of the story, of course. But, yeah, unfortunately, we thought it was all peaceful. They were talking at Nashville and smiling, and now we are back to bad as Stenhouse looks to either wreck or throw fists at Carson Hocevar. Maybe we'll get our first fight of the year. We'll see.
I can see it now. The NBO, brought to you by Motor Stardom and RJ Starsvik, the NASCAR boxing organization.
Idea for NASCAR, a 5-lap penalty for fighting.
You think we'd get more fights like that, RJ?
I think you should get the lucky dog for fighting.
I'd say we get more fights if we weren't fining them $75,000. That's for sure. So take the money out of the equation, and we're going to have a good time.
You know what, James? I would say if you lose the fight, you go a lap down. If you win the fight and you were down a lap or so,
lucky dog.
Yeah, you're
lucky
right
dog.
back
Move
up
back
there.
Up to the first lap.
You're back on the lead lap. We're talking.
I was going to say the greatest line ever about a NASCAR fight was Bobby Allison on the famous one at Daytona, where he said, "Then Cale went to beating on my fist with his face." I love
Why'd
that
you do
line.
that, Yarborough?
I love that line.
RJ, moving on here. We've got to get our weekly update of Joey Logano. How did that Shale 22 do yesterday?
Man, everybody was picking him just because it was the first race at a new track, but it just didn't go well for him, man. He was caught in a feud with Austin Dillon. He got booted off the track by that 3 car, and then he came back to him and wrecked him. I believe it was Austin Dillon, I'm pretty sure. But Joey Logano nonetheless ended up 21st. Not a great day for the 22 team.
What did we say last week? As long as he keeps finishing around his race number, I'm happy.
That's for sure. And he sure did, right in front of us.
That's right.
We've got RJ Starcevic on the line with us. He is the creator and the host of the Motor Stardom. You can hear the podcast on YouTube. What days do you have that on? That's on Tuesday evenings?
Tuesday nights, yep. Tomorrow night we'll be talking to Thomas Annunziata, who's one of the young guns in the Xfinity Series, so that'll be fun to talk to him.
Well,
excited for that.
Yeah, that great stuff there. And then also check out the Instagram page, Motor Stardom. RJ, speaking of young guns, Brennan Poole to make his first Cup Series start at Pocono. What do you think of that young driver?
Yeah, man, I was just about to mention him because we might get some words from him tomorrow night or the next week. I just was shooting messages with him about half hour ago, trying to figure that out. So awesome for him to be in the number 44. That's his Xfinity number, and he drives for Tommy Joe Martins, who I used to do a podcast with years ago. So really excited for him, very deserving, an amazing driver. Obviously, they're not going to go out and win the race or be top 20, but they're just looking to log some laps, hopefully get maybe top 30, top 25, and that car will look really good out there. So happy for Brennan. He's a great guy. I've known him for a while and excited for his opportunity.
Yeah, I misspoke. Well, no, I'll keep. I called him a young gun, but I'm going to stick with that because we're about the same age. Yeah, well, no, I like young gun because then that makes me a young gun because we're about the same age right there. So, yeah, we'll stick with that. How is that, though, getting into NASCAR? You're getting into the Cup Series, and it's kind of like you don't have expectations to win. Are you just happy to be there? How does that all play out?
Yeah, and I think there's no better man to be in that situation than Brennan Poole because he's ran for all the teams across the board. He's done this time and time again where he can go out there and, just run for a team where they just want to go out there and run laps. So, I mean, it's for your name in the garage, obviously people want results and everything like that, but the best thing you can do in that situation is just bring home a clean race car because you're not going to be able really to make a difference on the racetrack in that car. So just going out there, bring home a clean race car. Team owners have noticed that, and most everybody knows how good Brennan Poole is. It's just about, at the end of the day, bringing money to the table, and somebody will take that check if you can find it.
Absolutely. Well, give us a quick recap, as you did earlier, but a recap of what went down in the Xfinity Series this weekend at Mexico City.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It was kind of we did have a Mexico Series race, but as far as on TV, it was the race that really kicked off the weekend, and, all the eyes were on Daniel Suarez in that race, but all the eyes were really on Connor Zilisch because he was able to win the pole and then fight with Ty Gibbs throughout the race. So Ty Gibbs had two races that unfortunately slipped away from him, but it all went awry in one of the final restarts where the entire field just jammed up into turn one. I'm sure if you saw some of the laps yesterday at that racetrack, how treacherous turn one is. I mean, they said the straightaways almost as long as Talladega going into turn one, which is crazy for a road course, heavy braking. So those restarts were insane. Wiped out a bunch of cars, and the man that came out of it was the man that started 39th, an extra spot in the race, so we didn't have to send anybody home across the border in the same day. They let everybody race, and it just happened to be Daniel Suarez and that team that were the beneficiary of it. Went to the backup car, plain black backup car, and just went out there and just, put the fists out and won the race. So it was awesome to see. He just held off Taylor Gray. I don't know if any of you guys saw that last lap, but Taylor Gray was inching up on him. Almost got to his back bumper in the final corner, and if Taylor Gray moved that 9 car out of the way for the win, he was not going to make it home in one piece back to the States if he wrecked Daniel Suarez for that victory. So he made a good business decision there, but it was a very fun Xfinity Series race in Mexico.
Yeah, it's one thing to, have your dust up if you're Carson Hocevar with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. It's a whole nother incident to turn a whole country into a rival against you and try to make it out alive. Hey, RJ, last one for you. Give us the top 3 drivers for the Xfinity and for the Cup Series at Pocono.
Yeah, Xfinity Series, I'm looking at Justin Allgaier, the vet, always in there. I think he's going to be certainly the man to beat. I got Sheldon Creed as well, very fast at Pocono last year for Joe Gibbs. I think he'll be fast again this year for Haas. And then Christian Eckes, he's been finding speed lately. He was pretty fast over there in Mexico. I think momentum can just swing into being pretty fast all the way up north over in Pocono. And then on the Cup Series side, Denny Hamlin missed last week, but I think they read some stat where drivers are pretty good coming off a week off, and Denny Hamlin's really good at Pocono. So I'm going to put him number 1 there.
So he wasn't racing yesterday? That was someone else in the 11?
He did not. Yes, they had the baby on Thursday.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
And he was able to stay home, not take the trip. I'm sure if it was in the States, it would have been easier for him to go and race on Sunday, but just stayed home, took care of the baby, took care of the wife, and he was all set over there in the States, and Denny Hamlin did not race. Ryan Truex raced, didn't have a fun day. He got beat up a lot on Sunday, so that wasn't fun for him. But I like Hamlin's chances to come back in there and be really, really good at Pocono. And then two other guys that I think could get the job done if he doesn't. Kyle Larson, also really good at Pocono, been tracking some momentum lately, got wiped out in Mexico, but I think he'll be fast at Pocono. And then Ryan Blaney, multiple wins over there at the Pocono track. It's where he got his first career win, so I think he's always going to be fast and looking to come back from certainly a down week there in Mexico as well.
Yeah, RJ, I've been listening a little bit more lately to, if not listening to the podcast, but if I don't listen to the podcast, I'll see some of the snippets. But that Dale Jr. podcast is one of the best out there. And he was talking about Kyle Larson and Carson Hocevar and just how good of young drivers they are. So that right there, though, just listen to Dale Jr. on the podcast, then hearing him on the broadcast with Amazon Prime. He was my favorite driver when I was growing up, but I've got even more of a respect for him these days.
Yeah, no, listening to Dale Jr. is awesome on the Prime broadcast. Amazing. We got one more week left of Amazon Prime. It stinks. They've been doing so good. I know they're going to do great at Pocono. But then we go to TNT, the next 5 races. Same crew over there. Dale Jr. will be there. So still going to be fun to enjoy the summer with Dale Jr. It was funny. They were toasting margaritas after the race with SVG, and Dale Jr. still had his beer. He wasn't having a margarita. He had a beer. He said he had, quote unquote, I got a Mexican beer. We're good.
Hey, there you go. Cerveza.
Exactly.
That'll be interesting to take a look at, though, is which broadcast, if it's the same broadcast booth, which one do you like better, TNT or Amazon Prime? But for now, we've got to take a break. RJ, as always, thanks so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your week, brother.
Awesome, Sam. Do you guys enjoy the game tonight? Talk to you next week.
All right, that's RJ Starsvik. Make sure you get over there to Instagram, type in Motor Stardom, and give his page a follow. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. One quick timeout. We'll be right back for the final segment of the first hour.
In the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Monday's weather. The rest of the day there will be a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest, a chance of thunderstorms and some sun, and 86. Mostly clear skies tonight, about the same at 79. Tomorrow, a variety of mostly sunshine and possible thunderstorms and a high of 86. About the same at 87 Wednesday, and we'll have a variety of some sun and a possibility of thunderstorms. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Get ready to discover new adventures this summer and hit the road in a new 2025 Kia Telluride from Bill Bird Kia. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 3.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Telluride. During the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, experience what everyone's talking about. Stop by for a test drive today and discover the perfect fit, featuring spacious 8-passenger seating, premium interior, and advanced safety and technology features. Bill Bird Kia, the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours this summer in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Telluride with $2,253 per $1,000 financed at 48 months. Quality limit cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/7/25.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on? You're back in the CBC Construction Doghouse. Reach out to CBC Construction at 850-747-3815 or their website, cbcconstruction.com. You can call us on the Red 7T's phone line. Leave us or text us your best and worst of the sports weekend. The Red 7T phone line, the brand that brands you. You can visit their website at red7ts.com or you can call them 850-612-7007. David Hayes, James Fife, and Coach Brian Haddad. James, how was your weekend, brother?
I had a nice little weekend, man. No complaints at all. Good Saturday, good Sunday.
How about that weather that we had yesterday? Was that not? And I'm not speaking on the rain. I'm talking about like the temperature. It was very nice outside yesterday, and the humidity wasn't too bad. I'm not speaking for about up your way, even though it was closer.
Rained yesterday. I had about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain fall in maybe a half hour. It was like just water everywhere, and it was just hot and sticky and humid, and I was sweating, and I was not happy.
Well, if your air conditioner isn't working well, or if you haven't got it serviced, here we recommend the spring and the fall at Hiller Plumbing. Our confident service technicians will provide you with the solution for any home plumbing, heating, or cooling problem. Let us show you how we can make you a happy Hiller customer. Contact your trusted licensed technician in Panama City today at 850-290-4341. Call the Happy Face Truck today, or visit their website, happyhiller.com. All right, James, the Florida Panthers, a little bit of a boring game. What was it, Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night. No, Saturday night. That was Saturday night. Yeah, because I was out doing stuff, and I kind of halfway watched the game on my phone.
5-2, I think, was the final. Florida now up 3-2. I felt like that game was maybe not monumental, but pivotal if Edmonton wanted to win the series. Now, obviously, they have the game tomorrow night back in Florida, though, so uphill battle. What are you thinking for the series here after Edmonton drops the game in Edmonton?
I mean, Edmonton usually has one game where they play awful, in this playoff run so far, and now they've had two. And they're having the same discussion this game before they had it before the last one. Who's going to start, Skinner or Picard? I don't know, Knobloch. Why do you keep bringing this up? Do you think you have two goalies? Because this is the second time now this series he thinks he has two goalies.
And what's that old adage about having two goalies?
You got two, you got none.
Yeah.
And the thing is he showed that the last time he threw it up in the air. What happened? Goalie got pulled. Did it again. What happened? Goalie got pulled. Doing it again. Third time's a charm, man.
Yeah.
Learn, dude. Learn.
Should it be of the utmost importance? Like, I would have felt last year after the Stanley Cup final that of the utmost importance, I know that we're the Edmonton Oilers and we can score a whole bunch of goals. But at what point do you sit back and say, man, if we had a better goaltender, we might be winning this series right now?
I just don't think they got the cap room for it or the appetite to want to eat that cap room because of what they are paying for their top six. And you also got to find one, either somebody that wants to dance with you to get that goalie, or two, you got to find somebody that hits the open market. Now, usually not the best goalies in the world end up as free agents.
Right.
They usually get dealt to somebody right before they become free agents, and usually they either get re-signed or they hit the free agent market because, well, that's not really what I wanted. So the Oilers really need to get out and cultivate a goalie, I think, because they are not finding one. And I don't think anybody right now is going to be a dancing partner with them. They're too good.
Yeah.
And they're not got anything really in the system that anybody wants. So you've got some draft capital you can give up, but that's about it.
Yeah, no one wants to aid the Oilers in getting better. When they're already one of the best teams regular season, and
that's a lot of teams don't want to help the other guy get better. If you look at a lot of teams that are at the top, you usually don't see a whole lot of trade partners with them.
Yeah, no, and I don't blame teams for not wanting the opponents. I don't want my opponents. I don't want to see the daggum Florida. I would rather see Edmonton hoist the cup than the Florida Panthers, just because I don't want to see my rival hoist the cup 2 years in a row, as we just accomplished that, being the Tampa Bay Lightning, not just a few years ago. Big news in Major League Baseball last night, right before Sunday Night Baseball started. Rafael Devers got dealt to the Giants from the Red Sox for Jordan Hicks, another left-handed pitcher, Kyle Harrison,
yeah,
and then 2 minor league prospects. How do you feel about this move? The more that I think about the deal, I think it's a win-win for both. Boston loses what they perceive to be which was a trouble in the clubhouse. But he's also, one thing that I got to say for Rafael Devers is he's been playing well despite all of the issues. So the Giants are also getting a heck of a ball player as well. So maybe this is a team that on paper does not work for both teams at all. I would just say, I'm just saying, like, the capital that the Red Sox are receiving back is nothing compared to who knows what it'll play into. Not today, but anyways, your thoughts on this move?
I think it's too quick to say that the Red Sox got fleeced in this, because they've got some solid prospects coming in. They needed some pitching help. I like Tibbs, who they picked up as well. And they needed to move Devers out. I think it was time. So in the short term, it's going to look a little lopsided. Don't be surprised if this doesn't turn out building a good core for the future for the Red Sox.
And it very well could be. I'm just saying.
And you know how I am about saying positive things about the Red Sox.
No, absolutely. And so I'm just saying that I don't feel like the trade graded out even on paper, but I think it's a win-win because Giants got a good baseball player in a tough NL West division where they're going to need him, and then the Red Sox got rid of their problem. We'll see if the payoff plays out for them. But more on that maybe at 5:40. I know we got to talk about the NBA Finals, but coming up next, we're going to have Steve Barnes on the line with us. We'll be talking college baseball, about the big no-hitter, and some other things. Oh, best and worst of the weekend. We got to start off with that with Steve Barnes. Coming up next, he'll be with us on the Red 17's phone line. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 17's studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hi, this is Ryan Mulvey, and thank you for nominating the Inside Drive on the 2025 Best of Bay. To vote for the Inside Drive as the best radio show in Bay County, go to ESPNPC.com and click Best of Bay. And remember, for a brighter future, vote the Inside Drive in 2025. This message funded by ESPN Northwest Florida and the Committee to Elect the Inside Drive.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday evening. As we head into tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze at 7 miles per hour out of the south. For tomorrow morning, possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a temp near 86. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. likes to lift weights in a parking lot and eat Weight Gainer 3000.
I'm really starting to feel out nasty.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Doghouse. I'm David Hayes along with James Fife and Coach Brian Haddad. We are the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Do us a favor and like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have an app. You can go to your Google Play or your Apple Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Don't miss the next game on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. That is going to be tomorrow night. Braves have a series with the Mets. Then they're on the road, so they're at the house versus the Mets. I believe that's 3 games. Then you have the Marlins. Then you have the Mets, both of those on the road. Then you have the Phillies. So it is time. It is go time for the Atlanta Braves with 4 division opponent series in a row. Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida, brought to you locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and by Hometown Towing. Now joining us for hour number 2 on the Red 7T phone line is Steve Barnes. He is the senior writer for therebelwalk.com. Steve, how goes it on this Monday afternoon?
Just dodging a few raindrops and watching some college baseball.
Yeah, we've had some good college baseball. I haven't noticed any raindrops out there. A few rain clouds, but no droppage. But yeah,
well, it's coming your way, brother.
It'll be here. It'll be here shortly. So let's start off with your best, worst of the weekend, and you also have a cool and weird of the weekend as well.
Yeah, I wanted to amend that because there were a couple other things I thought. Well, I can't put that as my best, and I can't put that as my worst. But that's cool and that's weird. Let's just amend Dave's thing here, okay? Best though. First, I got 2 of them. First, we've talked about that line in Moneyball where Brad Pitt says, "How can you not be romantic about baseball?" Mm-hmm. I started covering college baseball in 1990, so I've been around a lot of players, a lot of coaches, been to lots of postseason tournaments, even the D2 World Series. I was on the staff there for 5 years. The other day, I heard the best quote I've ever heard from a college baseball player in my life.
Ooh.
It was a kid, it was Dustin Mercer, who plays at Murray State. Mm-hmm. And that was before their first game, I guess, and he didn't know they were going to be, 2 and through and get no hit. But he was at a press conference, and he said, "This is baseball heaven. Yeah. Kids just want to talk to me. They don't care if I'm going to be in the big leagues. They don't care if my career's over in 2 weeks. They just want to talk to me, and I want to talk to them." That is the best thing. Come on.
Yeah,
that's what this is about.
That's exactly what it's about, because I don't think that, when you're a kid, I remember watching JUCO baseball players when I was 8, 9 years old, and there's nothing wrong with JUCO, but just thinking, holy cow, how awesome is this? I remember being, on spring training sites back in Tampa and St. Pete area, and Hillsborough Community College baseball coach would bring us milk crates full of spring training baseballs, and just being able to talk to him and all those things. Man, being a kid, it does not matter what level of baseball you play. You could be a league or 2 above me, and I'm going to be looking up to you just because you've been playing the sport longer than me, and that is the love of baseball.
My second best, got to go with Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge.
Oh, LSU.
Well, no. All right, it's great what they do because they donate a lot of the proceeds to Food Bank in Omaha and to the school's local food banks. I love that about it. Mm-hmm. But I just love how the people in the South, first we have to show them how to play baseball. Then we have to go to Omaha and show them how to have Jello shots. And this is coming from a guy, and I'm not kidding you here. I've never had a Jello shot in my life.
Haven't either.
See? Hey, I just,
James, what about you?
Oh, yeah, I went to college.
Yeah.
I was away for Jello, I thought. But As of noon today, the top 4 at Rocco's, LSU leads 13,789 shots. Murray State, number 2. Go Racers, 6,672. Arkansas at 5,903. And Coastal Carolina at 4,094. Now, the last 4 champions, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee. I think they have something in common.
Yeah, they like
and the
Jell-O
other
shots.
thing, and the other thing is the record all time is LSU. One year they had 68,888 Jell-O shots. These things are $5 a piece.
Yeah.
So after traveling from Louisiana to Nebraska, getting the accommodations, going to the restaurants, getting the tickets, buying the souvenirs, LSU people spent $344,440 in about a week and a half on Jell-O shots.
And what's amazing is they spent just that much on, Miller Lite and Coors Light off to the side.
Yeah, the stuff that they actually want to drink.
I don't think I'm kidding.
I don't think that you are either.
Yeah.
Well, think about it, the stadium, if they're selling that, it's going to be $12 a shot.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely, if you're in Omaha, you want to have rich schools coming because, you're going to take them for what they got.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. $5 a pop. That is insane. Wright State Chris chiming in says many Jell-O shots have been consumed by myself. All right, let's get to the cool, weird. Or wait, do we still have a worst?
We got to do the worst first.
Yeah, there we go. I love multiple best because I have this one guy who comes in almost every Monday and he just best. Why do you keep on adding this best?
Wonder who that is.
Well, those two tied. So
no, there you go. I like the best. I love them.
My worst is the college baseball transfer portal is open.
Yeah.
How World Series is going on? How would you like for free agency in the major leagues going on during the World Series? Where, it's like, hey, cleanup batter for Team A. We're going to offer you this much.
I think it depends on the teams that's in the World Series. If it's like the Yankees and the Dodgers, by all means, start.
God, here we go.
Start it early.
But you know what, Steve? How many years did we go where right in the middle of the World Series, what would go on?
And the MLB draft.
Exactly. We finally got rid of that, and now we got to deal with a stupid transfer portal.
And the weird thing is, there's a reserve first baseman from LSU who's playing tonight, and if they win, they're in the catbird seat in that bracket.
That's right.
He announced he's transferring. He's going to Maryland next year.
Why?
Now, the thing is about this whole thing is, I don't know if he's disgruntled because he didn't play. He's a true freshman. But this year, he did get into, I think 15 games, something like that. But he was 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts. Come on. But, the portal, if you're not playing right now, it's kind of a good thing. Our guy at the RebelWalk.com, Cameron Wicker, he has a portal tracker just for Ole Miss, and they've picked up a pitcher from Grand Canyon, which might be, I think it is the most underrated baseball program in the country. Picked up a pitcher from Mizzou and picked up 2 outfielders, one from Illinois State, one from Clemson. So if you're not playing, it's okay, but come on. Y'all couldn't wait 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't like them being able to contact or for any player that's still playing right now to be able to make any sort of decision. But then we also had Gulf Coast State College baseball coach on with us the other day on the Inside Drive with Paul Wilson. And he was saying, it's when you're a baseball player and you're not playing now, it's a little bit of a different situation when you're a true freshman at LSU. You know that you're going to have to bide your time and earn your playing time. But when you're a baseball player, if you just sit on the bench, now it would be different again, as I said, if he was a sophomore or so. But the more that you're sitting on the bench in the sport of baseball, the more that you're just kind of losing yourself.
Now, the one guy from Ole Miss who's leaving, who I thought was a great contributor, is a catcher. As a freshman, he started. He's from Oxford, too. His name is Campbell Smithwick. This year, the transfer came in from Kentucky and just basically beat him out, so he's relegated to being a DH. He decided to leave. But, that's okay. You lost 1, but you're getting 4. So it's kind of okay. But still, just come on, wait. Please, just a couple of weeks. It's not going to kill anything for 2 weeks.
And I've said it in football. I think the baseball the same too. I really honestly think they need to wait till everybody's done. And here's why. Because these guys, they get worried that spots are going to fill up where they want to go. And that's why, maybe a guy like this LSU backup first base. I mean, he may have transferred anyway, but why he's going to go on and announce it now is because he's afraid if he doesn't, they're going to go out and get somebody else and this, that, and the other. So I think they need to hold them all until the last team is finished playing and then the portal opens. I think it should be that way in football. It should be that way in basketball. It should be that way in baseball.
Yep, agreed.
All right, the cool of the week.
All right.
Saturday, I'm doing some work, but I got the Oregon State Louisville game on. And, I'm halfway listening, and the announcer says, well, that brings up Louisville first baseman Tate Davis. And I'm like, okay, and whatever. And his dad, Ben, was the number 2 overall pick in the MLB draft in 1995. And I perked up and was like, wait a second. The number 2 pick was Ben Davis. And then I looked at the kid. That's his son. Ben was our catcher in Mobile when I started with the Bay Bears. He was the first, quote, bonus baby I'd ever met. Then I'm looking at this kid. Same height, 6'4". Same weight, 225. Same number, 13.
Wow.
Only 2 differences, same high school, Malvern Prep out of Pennsylvania. Only 2 differences is Ben hit right-handed. His kid hits lefty. His kid plays first base, then was a catcher. Then Sunday, Father's Day, ESPN is showing all the kids' dads in the stands. Ben's there. Now, I haven't seen, the last time I saw him, and believe it or not, I know the date, it was September 18th, 1998. Mobile won the Southern League Championship that night, and I'm in the clubhouse afterwards, and he's one of the guys pouring champagne and beer on my head and stuff like that. We're laughing and, taking pictures and hugging everybody. And about an hour later, I'm like, where did Ben go? And Mike Ramsey was our manager, and Rammer said, Ben's gone to the airport. I'm like, what? I said, yeah. He's flying to L.A. He's going to play with the Padres tomorrow.
It's so funny. I'm on Wikipedia right now, reading along with your story, and it's on September 19th, 1998.
Oh, I was the day off.
No, you weren't. No, because you said that happened on September 18th. So then the following day is when they got the contract, right?
Yeah. And Ben played 7 years in the majors with San Diego, Seattle, and the White Sox. Mm-hmm. But this kid, his son, and I'm not kidding. I would say he's a mini-me, but how could you be mini at 6'4", 225? Yeah. He hit 288 as a true freshman this year, started 60 of 62 games, hit 8 doubles and 18 home runs, and drove in 51.
Wow.
This kid's not bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he got drafted or not, but he will in the future.
Yeah, now he's working for the Philadelphia. Not him, but his dad.
His dad's a color analyst for the Phillies.
Yeah, how cool is that, man? I love stories like those, Steve. I feel like you're bringing us one at least once every other week, bare minimum.
Well, then you're going to love the weird one.
Let's go weird.
Because it's going to go into your next segment when you have the PCB Hobby Takeover. What a segue, huh?
There you go.
I mean, you're a pro.
Yeah. Well, we've all talked about how the College Football Hall of Fame is kind of weird because, Eli Manning is not eligible for it. Well, I found out, I guess it was Saturday, Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. He is in the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum.
It's kind of funny because sometimes back there behind the line of scrimmage, you look like a bobblehead.
Let me make a nomination for that Hall of Fame, and I'll tell you a story with it. Dennis Franchione should be in the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame because the sales of his bobblehead, Steve, this may trigger a memory for you, helped fund a lot of student association programs at the University of Alabama. So here's a story. Franchione famously decided to leave the University of Alabama to go to Texas A&M, Coaches don't voluntarily leave Alabama, right? It messed with Alabama fans' psyche. So right as Franchione is about to leave, they make I think they had just made and released 150,000 Dennis Franchione bobbleheads. And they were going to be sold and all this stuff, whatever, in the bookstore. So the bookstore's obviously like, well, we're not going to run these out now. So the Student Association said, give them to us. And they did. And what the Student Association did is they took them to the campus golf course, which is slightly off campus there. I think it's between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. And what they did is I think it was for $5 or $10 per swing. They let you go out there and knock the head off of these things, and all of the money went to support the Student Association and things like that. And I think they sold 40,000 of them or something like that. It was insane. So my nomination for the Bobblehead Hall of Fame would be Dennis Franchione for that story alone.
I wonder what Mike Price would go for.
He wasn't there long enough, but
yeah.
What was the girl's name? Destiny?
Yeah, I interviewed her.
Well, that's right. She was in Pensacola. That's right.
Yeah, it was. Believe it or not, that strip bar is only about 4 miles from my house.
Yeah.
But I went up there. I'm friends with the owner.
I was going to say I know the name of it, but I'm not going to admit that.
Well, it's changed hands 3 or 4 times.
That's right. That's right.
But I went there and she let me talk to her and she said, "Well, this is my husband." I'm like, "Wow, okay."
that was an unexpected detail in this story.
I'm like, "You didn't mind your wife going to a motel with this guy?" And he literally looked me in the eye and he said, "Hey, man, she wasn't going to sleep with him. She's just going to rob him."
If that's not a bumper for our next show, I'm very upset.
Yeah, could you? Thank you, James.
And the thing is, the way that she got caught was she ordered everything on the room service menu to go.
That's right.
Now, he's down here for the Emerald Coast Classic, the senior PGA tournament. And I'm down there covering it. It was in Milton at the time. And I'm outside the media tent between that and the first tee. And one of the guys says, "Have you seen Coach Price? Have you seen Coach Price?" I'm like, no, not in about an hour. He was over there. And it turned out somebody called him and said, "Yeah, you need to get to the motel."
Yeah.
And so he just bailed on everything. But anyway, back to the bobblehead thing. Mm-hmm. I think this is weird, too. There is actually a museum. It's in Milwaukee. And they've got 6,500 what they call unique bobbleheads.
Wow.
And I looked at there's only 3 from Ole Miss. There's Eli Manning, there's DK Metcalf, and there's Juice Kiffin the dog.
Juice Kiffin got in there. And well deserved.
And I thought, how in the world do you get in the bobblehead museum? And, like the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the people who nominate you, they're usually writers who've been writing 30 years about the sport. And I'm thinking, who's been covering bobbleheads for 30 years? Makes no sense. And I read the line on the webpage that says, members get to elect who's in there. And I thought, okay, who's a member? Then I see be a member on the website, and I click on it. From anywhere from $20 to $1,000 a year, you can be a member and vote in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to send them $20. That way I can put on my resume, I'm a Hall of Fame voter.
Oh, it looks like, so is there no Major League Baseball players in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, in the bobblehead thing?
Yeah, the bobblehead Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, there's tons. There's presidents. It's any kind of bobblehead. It doesn't have to be an athlete. It could be an actor. It could be a singer. It's just like, man, just looking through some of the names, it's like, that guy's got a bobblehead in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because I'm reading this article right here about it. Just 2 months after the Cincinnati Reds announced Pete Rose will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame, the all-time hits leader will be inducted into the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. So I think that was while he was... Yeah, this is from 2016, so never mind. So this acknowledgement, this accolade was given to Pete Rose while he was still alive. So that's awesome.
I wonder if he went and signed him.
They did give there's a speech part that, yeah, it looks like, yeah. And they gave everyone who attended the event a limited edition Pete Rose
Let me tell you something.
bobblehead.
If there was anything Pete Rose, it was signed. Pete Rose signed everything.
And he charged for it.
Yes, he did.
So I guess at that point in time, he was the only player in the bobblehead Hall of Fame because he said being the only of anything is a big deal.
There's 6,500 in there now.
Yeah.
Including Juice Kip and the dog.
Hey, well, and then I just can't wait for the nominations you're going to be putting in there year in and year out. Real quick, Steve, we're up against a break. As always, I love how we can take a best, worst, a cool, and a weird and make that last a whole segment. But real quick, what was your thoughts on Gage Wood and Arkansas's no-hit performance today of, who was it? Murray State. Yeah, Murray State.
Well, I'm thinking that, everybody's like, it's great he threw a no-hitter. I mean, it's great he struck out 19, but I'm guaranteeing you right now the Arkansas coaches, their favorite thing is he ate up 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the elimination bracket, which we used to call the losers bracket, but I guess that's not politically correct anymore. But it's an elimination bracket, and they got to play an extra game just to get to the finals.
Yep.
And he just ate up 9 innings that their bullpen did not have to be used.
Yep.
That's going to help Arkansas, especially if they have to go back against LSU.
There you go. Hey, well, Steve, we're up against a break. Thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to chatting with you next week, brother.
All right. Love you guys like fried chicken.
All right. Love you like sweet tea. That's Steve Barnes, senior writer for TheRebelWalk.com. Coming up next, it's time for the takeover, the PCB Hobby Takeover with Tom Mueller. We'll be right back. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday evening. As we head into tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze at 7 miles per hour out of the south. For tomorrow morning, possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a temp near 86. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Now in stock at Tommy Otto's.
2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. Luxury at a value price. $13,995 or a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport with one owner. Sporty and affordable. $11,995 at Tommy Otto's.
Buy here, pay here. Financing options available. Everyone is approved. Tommy Otto's, 2209 West 15th Street, Panama City. 850-960-8664. For the latest deals and specials, follow Tommy Otto's on Facebook. Add tag, tax, and title.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. Mole cricket season is here. Before these insects can do damage or even destroy your lawn, call Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. We will come out to your property to quickly and effectively stop lawn-destroying mole crickets so you don't have to make costly repairs. Look us up on Facebook at Turf Pro PC or call Turf Pro at 850-890-5820. 850-890-5820. Call the blue and yellow trucks. We'll make your lawn green.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're in the doghouse riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Coach Brian Haddad, James Fife, and the owner of PCB Hobby, Tom Mueller, in the building for the PCB Hobby Takeover. What's going on, Tom? Great to have you back with us.
Happy Monday, everybody. Yes, as always, you know I always say that. Happy Monday. It is getting down to the wire for the day. We are doing good. We're busy. Real busy. I'm actually leaving out of town. Oh, go figure. Tomorrow for a week. Yeah, going to North Carolina Heroes Comic Con.
There we go.
And this Thursday, they're headed out of town to go to the Javits Center in New York City for Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. I got a lot of good things going on. Last weekend, Saturday was Super Saturday. I believe Brian was there.
I was.
And that
so was everybody else.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yesterday was amazing. There was 1 million people that came in for Father's Day. So to all you fathers out there, if I missed you, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Other than that, we're just busy streaming, busy processing, busy selling, busy, doing deals, selling stuff at the retail. We got 1 million collections in at the retail. If you need sports stuff, I'm pretty sure we have it.
Well, and we're starting to cover, because like each of the collections kind of covers a different era. Which is neat, because a lot of times we get a whole bunch of modern or a whole bunch of 50s and 60s, and in the middle, everybody always says, well, 80s and 90s aren't worth. No, there's some stuff in there. Yeah. And then we picked up this big collection of a lot of late 90s, really hard to find short printed inserts and refractors. And things like that. Yeah. A guy, I went through this collection a lot yesterday. I'm pretty sure he had every Chipper Jones card ever made.
Yeah, if you're
for you Braves Chipper Jones
fans, come on.
Yeah.
Let's go. So anyways, we're going to Heroes Con. Heroes Con is, of course, a Comic Con, so that's going to be fun. That'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be up there, and there'll be a team of us there getting signatures and books and streaming and all kinds of craziness. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're into comics, check us out. Of course, we'll be streaming up there as well with some artists. And then Fanatics Fest is going on next weekend as well. And a team is going to be up there as well. We will have a table at Fanatics Fest. It's New York City, so if you have a chance to go, it'll be a lot of fun. We'll be selling and buying at the table. And of course, there'll be celebrities there. There'll be all kinds of craziness. I mean, it was backed by Fanatics. I mean, it's disgusting almost how awesome it's going to be. So we're really excited about that. I don't really have much to say about anything other than that today, specifically how busy we're going to be coming up in the next week. Also, if anybody's interested in Hot Wheels, hit me up. I got a guy who's got a large collection that wants me to come over at the end of next week and pick up. The team doesn't know about it. They would be very upset if they heard me saying this. However, I probably will
circumvent that.
I'll probably buy it. So if you want anything Hot Wheels, please reach out. Yeah. Please reach out. You can hit us up on social. You can hit us up on my email address and an email address on our website, pcbhobby.com, whatever. And just reach out and say, yes, I would love to look through it or whatever, because I will need to move it once I get it.
I always thought it would be real cool to have a miniature version of my truck.
Oh, that would be cool.
With me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Instead of a spare tire, I got my spare truck.
I don't know how much I talked about the Denver collection last week when I got back. This thing was massive.
Yeah.
So we started pulling the toys out and the different things, and it has been unreal. If you're a toy collector and you like Haunted Mansion, please reach out. We have so much Haunted Mansion. We're putting a bunch of listings on eBay. Check us out, PCB Hobby on eBay, not just through live streaming, but also regular 7-day auction listings. So if you want to pick up some stuff, you can bid on our auctions as well that we'll have out there. So that's going to be pretty fantastic in that side of things. Coin side of things, we don't have a show until the second week in July. We're going to the Fun Show, the second Fun Show. They have 2 a year. They have one in January. That's the largest. And then their secondary one is in July. So we're going to be going to that. Myself and Devin will be going down there with our significant others, and we will be buying all kinds of stuff. We will have a table, and we'll have one of our other guys manning the table and stuff like that. His name's Andrew. Anyways, so that's going on. So that's the next coin deal, but we still have tons of coin inventory. We've been buying coin lots and coin stuff over the counter and all kinds of different stuff. So if you're looking for anything particular, and of course we have silver and gold at the retail. Mm-hmm. So if you guys didn't know and you're just listening listening for the first time and you're a visitor in the area or whatnot, we are on Back Beach. We are a retail location. We're at 11939 Panama City Beach Parkway, which is next to Florida Linens. Again, if you're from out of town, you may not know where that's at, but it's where all the construction is, basically. That's all you need to know. It's going to be difficult to get to, but go anyways.
Yeah, go anyways and just type in PCB Hobby into your Google machine,
you'll
have a myriad of different ways.
As far as new products coming up, let's hear it.
Starting to get busy. Got a bunch of things this week. The main one is Marvel Chrome has hit.
Here we go.
And it won't last long. Topps took over and Fanatics took over the Marvel license. And they had already run X-Men 97 Finest, but this is the center point. This is the one. So Marvel Chrome is now out, and it is going to go like hotcakes. So make sure you get in and get that this week. On Wednesday, a lot of releases. Donruss Baseball comes out, Select Basketball, Contenders Optic Football, 24 Inception Baseball. It is a 2024 product, but that means Skeens Rookie, Holiday Rookie, right. It's a thicker card, beautiful, a lot of color.
And correct me if I'm wrong, last week on Wednesday, Top Series 2 came out.
Top Series 2 came out. It's been selling like crazy. A lot of people chasing some really great stuff in there. We've had some nice hits in the shop. We actually yesterday started Super Saturday. Family from Arkansas was in town, and they bought a Select Football Hobby Box. First pack, Jaden Daniels, 2 out of 2.
What?
If this card gets a PSA 10, it's easy 5 figures. I mean, it was so cool. And, first pack out. And then they did a bunch of other boxes and just were hitting stuff left and right. Did a bunch of baseball boxes today and yesterday. I mean, there was a lot of Father's Day presents going out yesterday. A lot of people pulling some really cool stuff. We had a Kaboom pulled in the shop yesterday.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it was fun. An interesting thing that I was just reading about, and I noticed when I started seeing some of the things from our Panini rep. Usually, and you'll remember this, at least since COVID, the first football release usually comes about November. Maybe December. There's going to be 2 in the next 4 weeks.
Oh, good.
And that's me giving Panini a few weeks to be wrong, like they always are. They are stepping it up. Now, obviously, the license transfers to Fanatics in April of 2026. So they're trying to hustle out as many products as they can. The good news is we're actually going to be getting a lot more products right before and at the beginning of the season, which means we don't have to wait till the end of the season to get the hot rookie. So that is going to be a good thing.
Well, because it gets hot, and that's the thing. When it gets hot, you do want people to be able to get as much new football in their hands when the season's starting versus it waiting, 2, 3, 5 weeks. I've always hated that.
So it looks like Luminance and Certified are both going to be out probably by the beginning of August. So that's exciting news, and I did not know that was coming. So
very cool.
So that's really cool. That's going on like that. So just kind of keep an eye on that. And then, as Todd said, not only are we busy this week, but we have 3 straight sports card shows in a row.
It's going to be
We've got
amazing.
Fanatics the week after that. For those of you, it's not that far to go. Spanish Fort, Daphne. They're going to be a show on the 28th. That's always a great show. Our buddy Nathan puts that on over there. And then the following week, a couple of guys I think are heading out to Dallas. So it's back to back for sports.
But that equals we're getting a lot of inventory.
That's right.
So again, if you're looking for anything, you got to let us know because we can source anything.
And it doesn't last long. I picked up a really cool Paul Skeens booklet rookie auto to 35 yesterday afternoon. Sold it this morning.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, that stuff doesn't last. It's crazy. Well, David, what do you have for us today?
When we're talking about coin collectors, are there younger coin collectors out there?
There is. There's a whole range. There's kids. And when I say kids, let's call them, 13 and younger. And then there's the 14, 15 to 20 range. Now, you'd be shocked. You can go to these shows. There's kids walking around with $10,000+ coins. I'm not kidding you. There's literally 16-year-olds walking around with $10,000+ coins that have traded up, that have done deals, that and stuff like that.
That seems to be a theme, like the trading up thing at shows and whatnot.
Yeah, same with sports cards. I mean, you see it a lot at sports card shows too, but at coin shows, it's interesting how there's this younger crowd out there. And then you get into the 20-ish to 30-ish range. And those are usually either they work for a company and they're a dealer and they work for a dealer, or again, they're out on their own as well. We deal with a lot of guys who come to our tables and they're what we call vest pocket dealers, where this is their job, but they don't have a shop. And then there's the shops. And the shops are usually owned by the 40-plus-year-old type. And then they have guys, younger kids working for them and stuff like that. So
to keep the
cycle going.
So
it's been good. We are getting to a point, and Sharon and I have had many conversations about this, how there is a group of 70-plus-year-olds that are on their way out, and good or bad. And that is going to be a wide open business for the younger crowd in my age group, the 40s and early 50s, to take over all that business. And again, who employ some of these younger guys. We have a guy on staff named Devin. Amazing kid. He's 21 years old. Maybe just turned 22 or about to be 22. And he is a whiz. And he came in a year and a half ago and started streaming for us. And so he knows so much about coins and about money and about investing and about stuff. And it's just interesting because then you have 30-year-olds that are still living at their parents' house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And don't do any of this and don't know any of this. So it's just quite a weird range of who's in it and who's not. But as far as a younger generation, there is a younger generation, and they are collecting.
Let's see. What's more thrilling? And both of y'all could jump in on this question, and maybe you'll substitute the first part of it. But finding a key date coin in a bulk box or pulling a rare sports card.
That's a tough one.
And if I would have added the comic trifecta in there, then you'd really be in trouble, huh?
I'll tell you what.
My answer may surprise you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I actually think finding the key date coin would be cooler, and here's why. I think pulling a rare sports card, I think you have an understanding that that's a possibility when you're ripping a box. Now, maybe if it's going through a sports card collection and finding a thing, maybe. But, like, if you have just a box of bulk coins, there's not necessarily an expectation. There's a hope.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, coming across something really cool key date, I would think that would be cool.
I'm going to have to agree with Brian on this one. Here's why. It's cool to pull cards, but what do I collect? Everybody knows. I've said it 100 times. I collect vintage cards. Why? Because they're all dead.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. They're not going to mess anything up. The value's going to stay. You're not going to find that in a new box. You're going to find Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels does well. He's awesome. His cards go way up. 5-figure cards out there, and then he gets in trouble for beating his girlfriend. And the next thing you know, the card's worth nothing. I don't find that fun in the end, because it's too volatile.
Yeah, stressful.
But the second you are looking through a bulk box of coins that you buy and you find that 1909 SVDB penny, which is the key date penny of the series, and you're like, oh my God, and it's gradable, right? And you get to send it off and you get a VG or a fine or a VF, and you're like, you actually have something that's not going to go down.
Yeah.
It is solid, it's good, and so tough to find in the wild. Comic books are similar to that too. The problem with comic books, they're so condition sensitive.
Yes.
And so that's the hard one. So I think my answer would be, I would love in a bulk box to find a rare coin. And if you ever want to know a couple stories, I do have them.
I will say of anything,
right after
though,
he's done talking, then.
I will say of anything, to me, the coolest thing I could find, it wouldn't be a 52 mantle. It wouldn't be a, what is it, an 1895 Morgan or whichever.
Yeah, 95 proof, yeah.
If I ever came across like a Action Comics #1, to me, that would be the coolest find possible.
To be honest
and
with
I am
you,
a sports card guy.
To be honest,
that would be unbelievable.
That is actually rarer than both what he just mentioned. The 1895 proof Morgan dollar is the rarest Morgan dollar, #1. And #2, the mantle, Topps mantle, 52 mantle, very rare too, especially in any grade, even low grade. But an Action Comics one,
my God, that would be the coolest find ever.
Millions of dollars, and it'd be the coolest find to find that in a attic somewhere that has been in there for 50 years.
Now, what is an Action?
It's the first Superman.
Oh, okay, Superman.
First Superman.
Pages from that comic go for hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I believe
so you could find a completely ridiculously ruined copy, and even just a page at a time. grade those. And
So what you're saying is if you do, which you probably won't, but if you do ever happen upon something like that, sell it by the page. Is that what
you could. You'd be shocked.
You probably make more money that way.
You'd be shocked. I'm serious. You'd be shocked. So yeah, that you're right, Brian.
And
that would be like a
that
dream.
might be the coolest find.
That would be a dream come true to find something like that. And I found some really cool stuff. So in a collection that we bought of comic books, we ended up looking through it, and you could tell it had been in a storage unit or somewhere where it was not heat controlled because the pages kind of seeped a little bit and stuck together. It didn't ruin any of the comics because the comics were paper. So paper and the plastic didn't do anything to it. So the comics were still pretty well protected, but they were stuck together. So you had to be very careful and peel them apart, right? Because they had seeped, because they were in old bags. Not even in boards. So boards is a newer thing. Yeah. Boards are cardboard in the back.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? But bags has been a thing for a while. Anyways, and so we went to look through the collection. We ended up buying this collection out of Louisiana. Really cool. End up spending a lot of money on it, right? But there's a lot of great stuff. And so we're super excited. So one day, Chris, Big Kern, comes in yelling, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. A giant X-Men 1 was stuck to another comic and we didn't know it was in there. And he said, and it's beautiful. There was literally one little chip on the corner of the book. So we're like, let's get it pressed and cleaned, which means you send it off to the service. So you can do
that with comics.
You can do that with comics.
But don't do that with cards or coins.
Cards or coins. We sent it off. We got it back. We sent it off to grade and got a 9.6. Okay.
Oh, God.
That's 2 points away from the highest ever. Highest ever is 9.8.
9.8?
Right?
Wow.
Okay. $10,000 book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Found.
So basically,
and we had no idea because it was stuck.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was stuck and we didn't know it. Yeah. It was amazing. So that's one really cool story. Another story is when I had my shop in Spanish Fort, lady comes in with a group of coins. And I said this not too long ago. Basically, I found a 1916 Standing Liberty quarter. And what I was telling everybody was that 1916 is when the barber quarter ended, and they mostly made barber quarters. So the new design of the Standing Liberty quarter was just kind of a trial run at the end of 1916. And so there were very few of them minted. So it's the key date of the series. And I happened to find one in a group of silver. So really cool, stories about. So I do have stories where I found lots of great stuff, but it's tough. It's tough. Anybody who thinks that they're going to get a $5,000 bill out of something, this is almost like winning the lottery. It's pretty close.
And that's what kind of separates, I don't want to say the regular collectors from the dealers and stuff, because the regular collectors have been doing it. You can't, there's no timeline for how long someone's been doing stuff. But
100%
with the dealers, and y'all been through a lot of ups
Think
and
about
downs.
how much comes through the counter, over the counter, in the door. At a place like ours.
And I
Guys,
think
it's daily. It's daily. I mean, think about this. It's daily. 3, 5, 10 collections a day. And we rarely pull anything that's like, oh my God. If there's anything, oh my God, somebody already knows what it is, and it's like, look, I have this or this or this.
And y'all's OMGs are so much more rare than like a OMG for me.
Typically, when you find something, it's going out in the wild, going out to someone's house, going out to something and looking, like the Denver collection. The Denver collection has been fantastic. Now, we're not going to make a ton of money on it, but it was such a wide variety that there's so much different stuff to sell that we have so much different stuff for the collector. It's like a buffet. And having that buffet to be able to offer on live streaming or just regular eBay or in the store. What did we bring over to the store the other day? Batmobile.
Yeah.
It
is really cool too.
Call it a 1/16 scale, something like that. 1960s circa Batman model.
And you don't have to build it. It's already ready to go.
It's already ready to go. Been painted, and it's in a shadow box and the whole deal in a case.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was unlicensed. It was unlicensed at the time. And so whoever made it, it was made an unlicensed model, which makes it very rare. I mean, probably most people have never even seen this thing before.
So still So still value
$500 to $1,000 easy. I mean, it's
so. What is the
valuable.
online? Explain that part to me, like because it's not licensed.
So in other words, it was not licensed through DC.
Through DC, right? But but they can't make him not sell that because that's
way past the.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
So very cool, and it was made a long time ago. This was made, after it first came out. Yeah. So really cool, neat stuff. I mean, there's really cool, neat stuff.
Yeah, this is the old school Adam West style Batmobile.
And the funniest thing is, we found in a box. We knew it was there, but we didn't know where exactly. We just knew it was there. We had to put our eyes on it. We literally found a Bruce Lee autograph.
That's cool.
That's more than cool.
That's rare.
That was so rare.
Yeah.
Minimum, I won't take a penny less than $7,000 for that thing. I won't take a penny less.
That's
real cool.
And I won't take a penny less. And the reason why is you just don't see them. The last one that was actually certified on eBay went for like $7,500, and it was some framed weird. I don't know. It
like
wasn't
a napkin
even.
Or something?
It wasn't. It wasn't like that great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas this is like a real document that really has Bruce Lee's autograph, and it happens to have the other guy who was the Green Hornet. So I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It has it has both of them. It has the actor of the Green Hornet, and it has
Bruce Lee.
Kato, right, exactly. So anyways, so that actor is on it as well. So it's dual signed piece of paper. And what it is a photo chit. It's basically where they had to sign it to allow photographs of them in garb that day.
Van Williams?
That's it. Yeah. Van Williams. Yeah, Van Williams and Bruce Lee autograph document, photo document. Yeah.
That's really
It's amazing. I have Adam West photo document with whoever Robin was. I can't remember. Burt Ward.
Adam West and Burt Ward. I think it was Burt Ward.
It's got a dual sign of one of those. I mean, we got so much cool stuff. So you guys, you really got to check us out. If anybody's interested, you got to hit us up on social or hit us up. Remember, our social's easy. We're PCB Hobby everywhere. So just hit us up and say, hey, look, I heard you guys got some really cool memorabilia. Love stuff like this. What do you got? We can send you pictures. We can do all kinds of deals. It'll be fun. Plus, you can catch us on PCB Hobbies eBay Live.
Yeah.
We're always doing toy shows now. We're doing all kinds of different shows and stuff like that. So a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff.
Well, I'd like to ask another question, but we are out of time. By the time we get back from break, we're going to have 5 minutes in our final segment. Todd, as always, man, well, first, be safe out there on your way
100%.
Traveling across America. But thanks so much for your time, and we'll chat with you.
Appreciate it. We'll not be back next Monday, so it'll be the Monday after.
All right. Well, we will hold on. Next week will be a miserable Monday, and then we'll be back for a happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
The following Monday. All right, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Little best and worst of the weekend action when we get back. Keep it locked in here to the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290.
A two-run home run.
The Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straight away center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday evening. As we head into tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 80 with a light breeze at 7 miles per hour out of the south. For tomorrow morning, possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a temp near 86. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and mostly sunshine and a high around 86. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
No one wants to deal with a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. It's even worse when you're not sure what it'll cost, when it'll get fixed, or if someone's just selling you something. When you call Hiller, you can trust our experts to actively solve your home's problems quickly. And with true transparency pricing, you know the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. Book online now at happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
You've found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Doghouse, brought to you by CBC Construction. Visit their website, cbcconstruction.com, or call them at 850-747-3815. The number to call or text today is 850-215-6290. That is the Red 7 T's phone line. I'm David Hazel. I'm with James Fife and Coach Brian Haddad. This is our best and worst of the weekend, so let's go ahead and dive into it with our Facebook post. And if you guys want to text anything in, again, to the Red 7 T's phone line at 850-215-6290. Mike Howdy McDaniel going with his best. J.J. Spahn's daughter, who won the U.S. Open yesterday. We went all day without even acknowledging that. Or the fact that the NBA Game Game 5 is tonight. But J.J. Spahn's daughter running to give Mark Cairns a hug after J.J. signed his card. The worst for Howdy was the Braves continuing to lose. Adam Goff, best. Reds go into Detroit and take 3 of 3. That is a sweep. In fact, the Reds are the only team in Major League Baseball who have not been swept this year.
Really?
Interesting tidbit right there. The second best for AG. Cards still alive. His Louisville Cardinals still alive in Omaha. Worst, Pacers blowing Game 4 and allowing OKC to take back home court advantage. And they did, to an extent, blow that game. They had the lead for most of it. Another very exciting basketball game. However, couldn't hold on to it as they let SGA get 35 points. Chet Holmgren had himself a heck of a game, and as did Jalen Williams. Ryan Mulvey, he's got his best. Coastal winning 25 straight, and they're just one win away from the College World Series Finals. I was checking on that earlier, so it is where they will stay in bracket 1 and they will stay in bracket 2 until the College World Series. So Arkansas will take on the loser of LSU, UCLA, and Coastal will take on the loser of, who is it up there? Oklahoma State.
Oregon State, Louisville.
Oh, yeah, Oregon State and Louisville. So there you go. Worst for Ryan Mulvey, Sam Burns getting screwed on that casual water on 15, which led to a double and his U.S. Open hopes. David Kelly, worst, having Sam Burns at plus 6,000 to win the U.S. Open and him crapping the bed on the back 9, which I put in a last 3-4 holes or whatever. Cam Ortiz was one shot behind the lead at this point in time, and he was plus 150,000. So I put $1 on it to win 150. Obviously, it didn't work out because good old J.J. Spahn won, and as he should. What a heck of a story. Yeah, for him waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, taking care of his kids because she was vomiting and all that good stuff, and then you have a terrible day to open up your round of golf in the final round of the U.S. Open. Not to mention, in the back of your mind, you've got to be thinking about what happened at the PGA Championship when you were in a playoff with Rory. Then you get to 18 and you knock down a 64.5-foot putt. Wow, what a day it was for him. Justin Overstreet, his best LSU Jello shot record, which are they on pace for the record right now? What, they're at 13,000?
That record's pretty darn out there because I think their record is 3 times second place, if I remember right. Almost 3 times.
Well, they're at like 68,000.
Right, but I think second place was less than 30.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But, LSU, if LSU gets into the College World Series, I could see them taking it down because they'll have someone. That wasn't it how they got to that record, like the owner of Raising Cane's or something like that, donated a whole bunch of money?
Sure, but they don't need a lot of help.
No.
They legitimately drink theirs, so.
Back to our best and worst of the weekend. Chef Ross, best, very entertaining College World Series. Worst, that stupid hit by pitch rule, which I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know which one he's talking about.
Maybe he's saying that if you hit a pitch, or if you hit a batsman by
you're talking about maybe
pitch,
today?
Yeah, like that shouldn't break up your perfect game, but it absolutely should. It's
it does.
It's not a perfect game.
Yeah, perfect needs to mean something.
Now, I didn't see the pitch when he hit the batter, so maybe the batter leaned into it or didn't make an effort to escape.
They showed both. I think one got overturned, one didn't. Neither of them they moved.
Yeah.
One hit one in the leg, one hit one in the elbow, I think, like that. They were statues.
I think my opinion on that is that I shouldn't have to get out of the way of the ball. If you threw a ball, you shouldn't have to get out of the way of the ball. I do think, though, if you lean into one, then that should just count as a ball and not a strike. Unless it was headed, to be a strike, and then you get in the way, then I think the umpire should just go above and beyond and call it a strike. So that's going to do it for our best and worst from Facebook. Do you guys got a best and worst of the weekend?
I actually have 2 bests. I know. My worst.
Stop the press.
My worst, we've kind of gone over. Arizona choking in the 8th. I thought that was terrible. So both of mine are from the world of golf.
Okay.
Not just J.J. Spawn winning, but playing the last 7 holes at Oakmont on Sunday in the U.S. Open, 3 under. He had 4 birdies.
Right.
And go birdie finish at Oakmont is unheard of. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and he was above par.
He was. 1 over going in the last 2 holes, finished 1 under. But here is my true best. 3 sources are confirming that the PGA Tour is expected to sunset Jay Monahan as commissioner either by the end of this year or by the next year. This may not be the path forward to bringing it. Like, it may not get back together, but I can guarantee you, as long as Monahan's involved, it won't. I thought this would have happened by now. Thank God. Goodbye, Jay Monahan.
It's a domino falling in the correct direction. I've got 2 best for you, too. How about Angel Reese? Triple-double for her, one of the 3 youngest players before age 23.
Is it a quadruple-double with missed layups?
Hey, we're not going to talk about that, but we are going to say that she had 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. And then also, I really wanted to start the show out like that. Like, oh, did y'all hear about Angel Reese? And, kind of make it a bigger deal than Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark returned, and they took on the undefeated New York Liberty at the time.
Not undefeated anymore?
They're not undefeated anymore. So a great run there for Caitlin Clark and for Angel Reese and for our soccer team. We got off the snide 5-0 last night. And my worst is Braves. Grant Holmes wasting 15 strikeouts on you. Your pathetic offense. Let's get it going. That's going to do it for James Fife. For Coach Brian Haddad, I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. This has been ESPN Northwest Florida. No Braves tonight. Paul Feinbaum, Jesus loves you. So do I. And
well, now the Braves stink.
Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up!
Call or text the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3